Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
I'm Shelley Matheson and we're at the Victorian Institute of Sport training session, which happens after Play On. Play On is a women's and girls wheelchair basketball program for development. Myself and former teammate, Paralympian Leanne Daltoso, we realised that there was no place for women to get involved in wheelchair basketball. And wheelchair basketball has been such a passion and a lifelong thing of both of us that we just wanted to open up our community to more women, so we created the Play On program.
Program is it's a special one. We cater for women who just want to connect socially, be involved in basketball, learn new skills, make new friends, but also we cater for those ambitious girls and women who want to actually excel and get to the Paralympic level. So this is that grassroots level where they can come in, learn, have fun, play, and whatever their pathway is, they can start their journey here.
I love sport, I love being an athlete. But for me, it's always provided community and connection. And when you're a little disabled girl growing up in the country, you don't always have that. So when I first found wheelchair basketball, I found people like me, I found a community, and yeah, I fell in love with the sport and the people. And some of my best friends in the entire world I found on a basketball court.
I come here every week and I see the smiles on their face, their friends. They want to work hard. They want to show you what they're capable of. It's not just about them, it's actually about their family that sit on the sidelines and siblings that can jump in and be a part of it. I love that. It just, everyone has a place in the sport and we want everyone to be a part of it.
I hope that women and girls come into the Play On program and just find the joy that is wheelchair basketball, whether they go on to compete for Australia, which I believe that there'll be girls on court in Brisbane in 2032 that have found wheelchair basketball through this Play On program. I hope that the girl who never wants to go further than this program just finds a space here, and everything in between. I just hope people fall in love with wheelchair basketball like we all have.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Welcome, wherever you're watching, to the Rollers vs the World Series. Coming to you from the old AUS training hall, now Basketball Australia's Centre of Excellence in Canberra, in the Australian Capital Territory. It's very early in the morning here, just a touch after 8 a.m. And we're about to start 5 days of amazing basketball between 4 of the teams that'll be heading to the World Championships later in the year in September. And the first game today features the hosts, the Australian Rollers. You can see them warming up in the gold singlets with the green numbers to the right of screen. Their opponents today, a team they know very well, Japan. These two teams fought out the final of the Oceania Asia Championship for the right to head to the World Championships. Australia beating Japan 62-57 in that game, meaning both teams have qualified. As I mentioned, 5 days of basketball. We're going to have 4 games a day for the first 3 days, then a series of semi-finals on Monday and finals on Tuesday. An opportunity for these 4 teams, it's Italy, Spain, Japan and Australia, to try and get themselves organised at the requisite level of competition for what lies ahead later in the year in the IWBF World Championships. As we get a look at some of the playing lists there, Australia using a long playing list, obviously the advantage of being based here in Canberra for a camp. They'll have 16 players, would you believe, rotating through their roster over their 8 games. I beg your pardon, 6 games during the week. No, it is 8 games, 2 games a day, and then 1 game for each team on Monday and Tuesday. As we see the referees give us the 3-minute signal. This will be quite a culture shock for both teams, I'd imagine, now they've settled into Canberra. The fact that it is so early in the morning, they would have been possibly having training sessions at this time, a little after 8 a.m, but very unusual to find a game starting this time. Our 3 officials today: Blaine Kraplanov, Josh McWatters and Ty Hodgins. Both teams just going through the final bits of preparation. And while we're here, the players potentially to look for, based on the Asia Oceania qualifying series, number 8, Ryuga Akashi. He was one of their leading scorers in that tournament, along with number 55, Hirakai Kozai. For Australia, it's a much broader array of scoring potential for head coach Brad Ness and his assistants Brett Stibners and Darren Alley. It'll be fascinating to see how he apportions minutes, or how they apportion minutes, over the course of the next 5 days. And officials just getting themselves organised. Both teams with their respective motivational chants. So we get a look at the starters for the first game. The familiar side of Tom O'Neill-Thorne there in 11. Coming out for Australia. Along with Ethan Laird. Lachlan Dalton, potentially as one of the younger members of the team. Tristan Knowles in the jump ball against Kei Akita, and Japan with the first possession. It's Mariuma. Ball kicks back across. First shot's up. It's off. Knowles the rebound. Australia in the gold singlets. Moving from left to right on your screen. Japan in the red. Knowles across Dalton. That shot's off. Offensive rebound. Back to Knowles. Thinks about the three. Kicks it back to Dalton. Knowles. Shot clock running down. Hook shot. Order of the day. Looks good to get us underway. Phil Evans there. Finding almost the only shot available to him. Heavy pressure up at the half-court line. Murakami manages a nice pass inside and Japan's on the board. Kawahara with that score. I beg your pardon, it was Akashi. Thorne to Knowles, back to Dalton, drives middle. Looks at the roller, can't quite find him. Shots off. Hand in there from Ethan Laird. The ball will revert to Japan. Transition attempt is foiled there. Laird, you'll see a lot of that today. Him sailing out of his chair. It's the way that he likes to play the game. Ball in bad, post-up opportunity, Akita. Shot short, manages to snaffle the offensive rebound. Kashi. The three is short. From Murakami, another offensive rebound. Peter shots off. Christian Knowles with the ball now, the right wing, uses the screen. First gets back to Knowles. Shot clock running down, he's forced to launch that one. And deal with the rebound. Some backcourt carnage, but play goes on. Akashi, beautiful pass inside. No score, but a foul. You'll see the first free throw attempts of the game. The team's a little scratchy to this point, but that's to be expected with such an extensive exercise in front of them. First free throw is awry from Ayakita. Gets his fingers on the seam and makes the adjustment. O'Neill Thorne, Tom O'Neill Thorne to bring the ball up on this occasion for the Rollers. Kicks to Knowles. Uses the Dalton screen. Back to the weak side. Boom. First three of the game. I'm sure Japan will be aware of his potency from that spot. We see some more contact inside. Christian Knowles takes a tumble out of his chair after committing the foul. It'll be Japan ball from the baseline. The box set up. Players exchange positions. Murakami finds Akita in the post. Hard flash middle, goes back to the left. Can't get that to go. O'Neill Thorne thinking about another three potentially. He's left wide open. He goes. Boom again. Japanese coach will be rubbing his head. In fact, he's called for a timeout after those two defensive lapses. Sees Tom O'Neill vault the Rollers into an early 8-3 lead. A reminder, this is one of 4 games you'll see today. 4 games on Saturday, Australian time, and 4 games on Sunday, with a couple of semi-finals on Monday and a third place game and a championship game on Tuesday. It's quite a big weekend in Australia here, long weekend, so the Monday is a public holiday. Fantastic opportunity if you happen to be in Canberra to come down and watch. No admission cost, and an opportunity to see 4 of the preeminent teams in world men's wheelchair basketball. So we get a look at the Japanese huddle there. Head coach Kazuyuki Koyoya trying to get things organised, and I'm sure leaving Tom O'Neill Thorne wide open on the 3-point line. It's not part of any scouting plan. Akashi with the headband to inbound the ball for Japan. Murakami, well organised press break there. Akita. A player out of their chair. Akita on this occasion checks his elbow. Quite a common occurrence during the game that referees will routinely stop the game from a safety perspective, just to ensure all is okay. Akita drives baseline, the left, fantastic hands there. O'Neill Thorne just lightning with that reach there. Almost magician-like. So he looks at another 3, rolls into it. Maybe a heat check. A little short. The Rollers managed to get hold of the offensive rebound nonetheless. Knowles, O'Neill Thorne drives right, uses a screen, finds the second roller. That'll be disappointing. Lachlan Dalton wide open there. A beautifully run screen and roll with the middle cut. Shot's good. Murakami doing all the passing work there. Knowles, dribble weave, O'Neill Thorne. Japan not going under that screen. Ethan Laird, his shot captures part of the support. And we'll revert back to Japan. Get a look in the background at the amount of equipment required, mechanics, spare chairs, spare wheels. It's plenty of organisational tasks for the team management to look after, and particularly having 16 players in this extended squad for the Australians. Just a break here, the officials ensuring the clocks are in synchronisation. Lovely long inbound pass breaks that pressure. Murakami, he thinks about 3, rolls into it. Just off. O'Neill Thorne trying to set something up. Jake Kavanagh on the floor in 14 now for the Rollers. Ball back to O'Neill Thorne. Casually launches another 3. That's off. The flowing locks of Frank Pinder and number 2 have also made their way onto the floor, accompanied by Frank. There's Murakami. Drives left, finds a cutter. Ball skipped back to him on the left wing. He drives, uses the screen from Mariuma. Mariuma, screen and roll, finds the contact and makes the score. Ties us up at 8. Fantastic simplicity there, but the pass right on the money. Allowing Mariuma to catch and shoot in one motion and ride the contact. This free throw takes several looks around. It doesn't go in. Jordan Bartley with the rebound. O'Neill Thorne looking at that screening opportunity. Bartley. Another 3-point attempt is off. One from Kavanagh. Japan, perimeter offense. Exchange of screens. Ball skips back to the right wing, shots off. Murakami, the offensive board. Ball's reversed around, shot clock now an issue. Kawahara turns it over. Australia off and running. There's that man again. Just lost his compass a little bit at the moment. O'Neill Thorne pointing. Frank Pinder out of his chair. Officials just call a hold. Just about 2.5 minutes remaining this first quarter. A feeling out period of what's a massive 5 days of elite wheelchair basketball. Tremendous hook skip pass from O'Neill Thorne. Fantastic stuff there as we see another collision. A couple of players out of their chairs there. Quickly up. It's Jake Kavanagh with that catch and shoot from the wonderful O'Neill Thorne pass. Pan opting for the long inbound again to beat that pressure. Running a 2-on-2 break, can't get it to go. Bartley the rebound. O'Neill Thorne ever present. Drives right, weaving, thinks better of it. Reverses the ball, Bartley. Ball finds its way back to O'Neill Thorne, shot clock running down, back to Kavanagh. His three is very flat. Somehow comes back, offensive rebound. Back inside to Kavanagh. The slightest of fakes encourages the Japanese defender to just touch his arm. He's able to finish the shot. Some real finesse there. Just an ever so slight pause in his shooting action. Encouraged the defender to think that he might be able to get a block. No such luck. He calmly converts the 3-point play. Australia up by 6 now. Backcourt pressure still there. Japan content to go short, then long this time. Murakami watches most of his troops roll by. Finds a lane baseline. Probably had a layup opportunity there. Thought better of it. Back to Akashi, who couldn't convert. O'Neill Thorne. This looks like he's gliding on ice, but he managed to turn that one over. There's a leak out. Kashi rolls left and has the underhand reverse with spin. Gets it to go. Red court Australia. Just a touch over a minute remaining first quarter. O'Neill Thorne drives, kicks. Bartley's fouled. Brad Ness in the background giving the officials, or maybe the players, or maybe both, some instruction, some of his opinion as to what might have transpired there. Ball's inbounded, Kavanagh. Back to O'Neill Thorne, who's played all of this first quarter. Kavanagh drives middle. Hesitates. Kicks it back out. That shot's off. Japan off and running. Fantastic fast break there. Absolutely electric speed from Akashi. Australia can almost run this shot clock all the way down. Kavanagh looks at 3 off the O'Neill Thorne pass. Can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound. They can certainly play for the last shot here. O'Neill Thorne kicks. Hartley. He's well covered. Tries to use that screen. Back to O'Neill Thorne. Catch and shoot. His shot's off. Ball bobbles middle, and that'll do us first quarter. As close as we might have expected. Australia 14, Japan 12. We'll be back in just a moment.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
It's early on a Friday morning here in Australia, in Canberra. Basketball Australia's Centre of Excellence. It's the second quarter of Game 1 of a flotilla of games over the next 5 days. The Rollers versus the World Series featuring Japan, Australia, Spain and Italy. My name's Brendan Parnell. I'm joined by Campbell Fraser, a man far more knowledgeable about the intricacies of the sport of wheelchair basketball. And Campbell, probably what we would have expected. Both teams in the early stages of what's in a very intense 5-day preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is exactly what you want to see out of the Aussie squad, particularly knowing that there's a few players that they're missing at the moment, playing in international leagues as well as other things. So a really good showing of some of the deeper roster of Australia and Japan, really holding them to it as well.
Both teams have made a few substitution adjustments. There's Ben Moncrief with the long black sleeves, missing that shot there. Japan again showing how deadly they are in transition. Notice of the two, Tom O'Neill Thorne, yet to take a break, which is not unusual for him in any game at this level. Just probably so with the 16 players, but maybe Coach Brad Ness looking for some stability pieces to put around some of his rotations to figure out what will ultimately work and what might not. And Mikazuki off with that second free throw. But he cuts middle, finds himself wide open. Just was off balance trying to make that layup. But he did draw some contact. His arms in the air. He's astonished he didn't finish that. But it wasn't in the act of shooting. So it'll be Japanese ball from the baseline.
That's one of the things that the Japanese are very elite at is drawing that contact. They like to play fast and loose, and they're very, very strict with the fouls that they collect. But they draw contact in very well in their shooting style.
Kozai on the floor with the long sleeves. Good shots off. Moncrief unable to reel in that pass, and some of the familiar action we'll see in the backcourt. Bit of jamming there. Large scale traffic jam. And then flustered by that. Kozai looks down remorsefully at his chair, as if blaming it for the spill out of bounds there. Knowles back to O'Neill Thorne. Looked like, for all the world like him shooting there, but it was a pass. Ben Moncrief, the recipient and the finisher.
I really like the role it was relying on Ben Moncrief as kind of the tall against the Japanese squad. Previously, they were running a little bit shorter of a lineup for Australia. But Ben Moncrief kind of putting in that pressure in the paint, not having to rely on threes as much. And I think that'll be a way that Australia kind of tests the defense of the side of Japan.
Kozai running a one-man offense there. Tristan Knowles does the same for Australia. And Neil Thorne sneaks in to get an offensive rebound. Knowles looks to reset things. Kicks across to O'Neill Thorne. Back to Knowles. Two-man game there. Nothing doing. Unfortunate there for the Japanese. Kawahara was trying to screen out the Australian player from the rebound, but nobody went to get the ball. Shot clock running down again. Another fantastic pass from O'Neill Thorne. It's Tyndall this time, who finishes the mid-range. Kozai. Ball skips back around. And Taro on the floor for the first time. Back to Kozai. As mentioned, he was their leading scorer in the Asia Oceania Championships. There's a reason he's quite ball dominant. Knowles effortlessly weaves in and out. Back to O'Neill Thorne, back to Knowles. Drives middle. Bit of a push off there. Then an extended arm. Three officials, plenty of people to see what happened, but they were comfortable with that and have assessed a shooting foul.
I really like the way both teams are playing a very similar style of defense once they get back into their half, being very, very active on their defense, obviously drawing in a couple fouls, but really isolating those shooters and making sure that they don't get anything for free. We haven't seen many shots that go up other than threes that have been open, especially for Australia. The Japanese have been really putting on that pressure and forcing them out.
Knowles, standing free throw shooter, makes that one. More backcourt pressure. It's a little token this time. Just Knowles present. Ball kicks ahead. Kozai happy to give it up this time. Kachi, lovely, deceptive underground pass there. Officials found the foul before the shot was snaked in.
I think Kozai just putting up that shot, really hoping that he was just quite in the start of his shooting motion as he as he went up. Obviously trying to put a little bit of magic on it.
Akasha left wide open. We see another collision mid-court. Plenty of hand gestures, but all looks like it's in good spirits. They exchange a hand slap. Midway through the second quarter, this game coming to you from Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence. AUS training halls. As Moncrief manages to half-shot fake, draw some contact, and then convert from the block.
That's a really, really nice shot from Ben Moncrief. I really like the way that they're playing around him, really using his height, knowing that he does have that outside shot. Previously in the Australian League, when he plays for Perth, or when he had played for Perth, he's relied on as more of an outside shooter and not their inside pressure. So he's very valuable in that shot. And the Japanese really don't have a way to contest him. They don't have the height to pressure him quite. So that will be a really important thing for the Rollers here.
There's that man Kozai. Does not lack in confidence when it comes to shooting. Knowles, ball kicked ahead. They managed to beat the pressure. Shots off. Akashi the rebound, but the officials have stopped play for a second. Yeah, they did in fact find a foul. Just snuck up to the score table from the backside there. Score table officials, an early morning for them as well here in Australia. Kozai weaving in and out. His pass is deflected. Finds its way back across the floor. And another shooting foul.
Again, it's that style of defense that the Rollers are choosing to play, being a little bit faster, a little bit scrappier. It's obviously a style that they really like to play, and they made some substitutions to kind of bring down their height but bring up their speed. But it does risk drawing a lot of those fouls. So could be a little bit of trouble for the Rollers, but hopefully not too much at this stage.
A very individual shooting style here, Takamatsu. Gets the ball way back behind his head. He sneaks in to get an offensive rebound. He'd be disappointed he couldn't finish that. Knowles pushes ahead. Gets half a screen from Frank Pinder. Ball finds its way inside. Jordan Bartley tried to make that pass fit. Just not enough of a gap there. But it did. No, it didn't catch a Japanese hand. It's with Japan. Midway through the second quarter. Game one of 16 games over the next 5 days of fantastic action. Takamatsu misses another layup. He's screened off in the backcourt as Knowles takes the ball to the front court for Australia. Ball finds its way inside. Laird with a careful pass there. Pinder back to Laird. His shot is pancake flat. It's off. Akashi with the rebound, kicks ahead, cuts. His cut is covered by Laird. Gets one in the scone. Mr. Knowles going the other way. There's another collision.
The Rollers probably pretty annoyed that call happened right there. When the play goes down, it's important that they're behind the play. If they're behind the play, then the play can continue, and it was right in the middle of it there. So I think tried to push that a little bit ahead, knowing they would have the offensive advantage, but not quite able to make it there.
As the Australians call a timeout, probably just an opportunity to have a chat. Coach Brad Ness with glasses pushed up on his head there, you can see in the middle of the huddle.
It's a funny thing watching a 16-man huddle. You don't often see that, and especially in the chairs, it becomes quite a massive affair.
Yeah, there's people that have only got tickets for a third row back there. maybe having some hand signals conveyed to them. And it's a large coaching staff as well, but it's just obviously the Australian Rollers running a camp here, so an opportunity for some of the network coaches. We can see Jamie O'Loughlin in the background standing from the Western Australian Institute of Sport wheelchair program. Great learning opportunity. Australians back out on the floor in the yellow singlets, Japan in the red. Their officials just checking. Looked like Kozai might have gone the wrong way there. He clearly wasn't listening in the timeout. Rintaro kicks across to the corner. High arcing shot there. Kozai managing to get that to go, which is no surprise. Bartley uses the Frank Pinder screen. Frank Pinder would have the highest rate of screens per minute on the floor of any player. Tristan Knowles finds the bottom of the net. Japan looking very adept with the press break.
I really like the Rollers playing around Tristan Knowles there, knowing that he's probably of this team, at least of the 5 that are on at the moment. He's a very calm, experienced shooter, and kind of relying on him to be that last second shooter. He's very much a confidence shooter. Once he gets going, he will stay hot, and I think that could spell a little bit of a change of pace for the Rollers here.
Rintaro with the basket there for Japan. Mid-range shot. They pull to within 1. Knowles uses a couple of screens, looks at 3. Hasn't been able to get one to go yet. Kozai giving the officials some instructions there. Takashi uses the screen, weaves back. Defenders go under. He launches. Calls a hold.
I think Tristan Knowles having a little bit of a chair issue there. He almost stopped playing defense for a second. Was looking down at his chair. I suspect that's potentially a belt or a strap has come loose or something like that. Didn't look like a tire had gone, which does happen. If for those of you that aren't too experienced with the sport, the tires do go with all the contact and the pressure that they're under. But hopefully that's just a strap that will be able to fix up.
One of my favourite parts of the byplay of the game, Campbell, to watch the Formula One like wheel change. Quite often happens in a timeout. Mechanics are asked, as they are in Formula One, to do a bit of everything.
Yeah, you think for able-bodied teams, you have your physio, you might have a couple other people involved in that. And for the wheelchair game, we have mechanics. We always have a team mechanic.
Ball with Rintaro. Shots off. A couple of Japanese defenders left lamenting in the back court. Hartley, Laird. He's theatrical on the contact. All heart. Shot's good for 3. Rintaro kicks ahead. Takamatsu, expert with the give and go there. Draws the contact, goes toppling out of his chair. We'll get back to the free throw line.
That's one of the most frustrating fouls that you can draw as a defender, kind of pushing that straight line, hoping that you're not making too much contact. And the player with the ball just pushing a little bit inside and clipping that contact, putting the shot up, and they'll always draw that foul. It's a frustrating thing. It's kind of, do you play defense? Do you not? What do you do in that option?
Takamatsu off with both those. Bartley to the front court. O'Neill Thorne uses the almost moving screen. Beautiful screen and roll action. Ethan Laird looks up pleadingly as that reverse sat on the rim, but it went in. Foot pressure almost effective there. Goes eye. Gets free. Gets the handoff back. Takamatsu almost got in the road there instead of screening. Ethan Laird very zippy. Finds an angle. Probably was looking for the contact, which didn't come expertly. The Japanese defender there stayed away. Laird lent in. Japan's often running the other way. A blocking foul.
Again, that Japanese they're really dedicated to not drawing on unnecessary contact. They're very disciplined in the way that they play, and really just forcing Ethan Laird into an awkward position there. He knew he didn't have his line for the layup, so really trying to force into that contact and just not able to make it.
Mariyama. Koki Mariyama at the line. Takes a breath, makes the second. O'Neill Thorne for Australia. Multiplicity of screens weaving across in front of him. He chooses the Dalton variety. Ball comes back to Jordan Bartley. His three-point attempt is off. Takamatsu. Goes eye. Mariyama's shot falls off. He knew the second half clock was expiring. And that'll do us. Australia holding a slender 5-point lead, 28-23, and we'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value-packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just $60,000 drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really tough. You're going to have some really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Channel Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
JPN, you see in the Australians that the styles that they're drawing from the way that the Japanese play, they're very, very consistent in the way that they play their defense, especially in the Australians. Just being forced into a little bit of contact there. Really not a lot coming different between the two. The Japanese shooting a little bit more inside. Australia really focusing on those 3-point shots and really relying on those outside options, but hopefully looking to find something inside a little bit more this time. Immediately. Australia look for a way to respond here. Commonweal Thorn. Knowles looking for an inside option, trying to find Moncrief. Finds Tyndall under the basket, and it's good. It's a beautiful little putback, knowing that the Japanese had to jump on Ben Moncrief pretty quickly and try and contest that height, just leaving Tyndall open just for a little too long. Kurosawa won't find that one. Just a little bit of a misplay there. Don't necessarily want the low pointers ball handling, and that's something that the Japanese will try to force Australia into.
Sam White caught unawares on that occasion. Shot clock running down. Lightning hands. Maybe I was going to say an intentional foul, but a foul to stop the transition there. Probably some clever play. Get a bit of a chair block up there. Murakami saw that he was pinned down, just reached out and grabbed an arm. The official's happy enough to let that one go. With a quick timeout from Australian head coach Brad Ness.
This is a rare time that you see Brad Ness pretty calm in this instance. He likes to get animated, likes to get involved. Obviously, he's a former player and a former roller, so he's quite invested in the team, invested in the green and gold. So he can get pretty fired up, not in a bad way, but just gets very involved with his players. A lot of these players he's known for a very long time, so it's a different change of pace. Probably trying to keep them calm, knowing that they're drawing a few fouls here. Just trying to keep their heads level, keep them consistent, and get them back out.
Knowles receives that inbounds pass. Moncrief into the front court. The rest of the players playing catch up. Knowles waits for the offense to set itself. Ball goes inside. Moncrief. Nice soft touch there. Another chair jam. Sam White manages to lift his chair up and get away. He's immediately accosted by another defender. No mercy there at all. Furusawa Sees a bit of a lane. Tristan Knowles cuts him off. He's isolated, thinks better of it. Ball comes back around. Akashi. Short from Murakami. Knowles quizzically looks at the ball as he comes down the floor. Decides it's okay. Gets the pass fake. Murakami's seen that before. Jumped the lane. Almost 8 seconds there. The bench was keen to encourage the officials that it was 8. As Knowles goes finger roll. Furusawa gets it back. Back to Murakami. Really tricky shot on the turn there from Akashi. It's off. Knowles, as is his habit, looks at the ball. Wheels across the lane, finds Moncrief in the middle. He's found his shot. Immediate Japanese timeout. Just a little mini run of scoring there from Australia. Moncrief managing to screen, roll to the middle of the paint, and or what would be the painted area, the keyway, and his elevated shot is almost unguardable.
Yeah, I really like the way the Rollers are relying on Ben Moncrief to be that really big, tall scoring opportunity, and the Japanese not really having an answer to the way that he's playing that high screen and then turn back inside. They're kind of defending him as if he's going to set that screen, but really it hasn't been the play that the Australians have looked for. They've consistently just let that pass, let the defense kind of make their own little mistake, and then Ben Moncrief comes flying in, and as soon as he's posted up inside that keyway, he is going to be golden. So he's looking extremely strong at this point.
Much more conservative number in the Japanese huddle. Should be 12 players there. Half a dozen team staff. Obviously a much more difficult logistic exercise to get out to Australia for an extended period. They trail by 8. Early stages, third quarter. Game 1 of the Rollers versus the World Series. From the AUS Netball and Basketball Centre. Hear the official there. A pushing foul identified.
It's an unfortunate little foul for Sammy White. The Japanese have been sitting in the keyway for almost 3 seconds there, and if he hadn't made that little knock, I think they would have got that call. But just that little tap from behind, defending from behind in wheelchair basketball is always going to get you called on a foul.
Murakami takes the 3. Back to Furusawa, back to Murakami. He finds Akita inside. Exactly what a head coach would want to see out of a timeout. Tristan Knowles takes a tumble. Tom O'Neill-Thorne, I beg your pardon. Yeah, expert at accentuating the contact.
So it's one of Tom's benefits is the way that he sits in his chair. He's quite top heavy, and he has quite a lot of core control, so he can throw himself around and really plays through that contact. Very good at pushing through that contact, but also it does show quite strong. So when the Japanese are gonna push him a little bit, he will show that contact every day.
Murakami gets the ball, eventually finds its way to Akita. His shot is off. And 10 players crowded into the area above the 3-point line and just over the halfway line. And Neil Thorne breaks free to get the ball for Australia. Back to Knowles. These two have played most of the minutes. Something the officials didn't like there. Offensive foul assessed.
And yeah, Furusawa just took a little bit of contact in the back, fell down, and I think that there was just a little bit too much push there. And obviously he's a pretty light player. He plays pretty quick in his chair, so that contact, then it'll always get called.
Murakami, Akashi crashes to the ground, quickly up. Furusawa, cut off. Murakami looks at three, beautiful follow through. Unfortunately, wasn't straight.
That's really important from the rollers, forcing the Japanese into that 3-point shot. Not something that they've been looking for nearly the rollers have in this game. So it's something that they're quite as comfortable in, so if they can force that defense, force that offense rather, to be pushed out to the 3-point line, that's going to be huge for them.
Knowles to O'Neill Thorne, shot clock running down. Moncrief realises that a little longer than the range he's successfully made before. Murakami the rebound. The person he was passing to, Furusawa, just got held up there. Ball's turned over.
I think he was a little bit confused by that foul, thinking his hands weren't on his wheels and that Tom O'Neill Thorne had kind of hooked the front of his chair. But Tom really accentuating that contact. It was clearly a pretty aggressive hold, so will get called.
As Australia wheels on 4 substitutes, O'Neill Thorne left to marshal those troops. He's got the ball back now. That wrist snap, such an effortless release for 3. Jordan Bartley unable to track down the rebound. Akashi inbounds for Furusawa. Frank Pinder doing his best to stay with him. Murakami shots off. O'Neill Thorne. He's got lane rollers on each side. Kavanagh unable to finish. Furusawa streaks ahead with the rebound. And Akashi. Ball back to Furusawa. Neat interchange of passing. Murakami, he won't turn that down. Rolls in and out tantalisingly. We see some more carnage in the middle of the floor.
It's very much not uncommon to see that kind of contact. The rollers really like to play with their speed. They play pretty aggressive, and the Japanese know how to defend it well. So you'll see a lot of players come out, and I'm sure across the next 5 days there will be a lot of falling.
Mikazuki did a very good job there to screen O'Neill Thorne away from that pass and force the turnover. Akashi, Furusawa takes advantage of a collision. Adeptly makes the layup. A few remonstrations from Australian players there. Hartley uses the Pinder screen, goes back to Pinder, real tough angle for him, that reach. Mikazuki the rebound, but the outlet's turned over in their haste. Bartley makes them pay. Mikazuki looks ahead to beat the pressure. Furusawa always looks extremely calm. Just a little too much mustard on that pass from Akashi. He was streaming back defensively, ran into a wheel, came out of his chair. Jake Kavanagh able to finish that. So the officials call a halt. Just check what's going on in the middle of the floor. In fact, the Japanese have called another timeout. Timeout's a little more liberal in tournaments such as this, where teams are trying to develop technique, tactics, and rotations.
Yeah, and especially between these two teams, I think there's obviously they're not necessarily playing for a massive title or anything, and the Australians and the Japanese really play nicely together. It's been a long-standing relationship in wheelchair basketball. The Australians and the Japanese. We have our under-23s that play together. We often go to Japan for that as well. And it's a really fantastic relationship that they have here. So really a good learning opportunity for both teams. Obviously, the Australians having a few players who don't necessarily have as much experience in the rollers squad, and kind of getting deeper into that squad, which is really nice to see, especially in an opportunity like this.
That last assist for Tom O'Neill takes his tally up to a game-leading 8. He's played the majority of the 27.5 minutes played to date. Just those 2 early 3-point makes, but the 8 assists, and he's controlled the tempo. Again, very synchronous press break. Urasawa gets some contact. There's a few people not happy about that in the arena, but no call from the officials. The defender looked to be stationary. Kavanagh, O'Neill Thorne, skips across, Bartley, weaves, does a great job. Just can't finish. Mikazuki with the rebound, a foul in the backcourt. Australia still looking to press up. Man-to-man press. Just 2 players left in the front court. Mikazuki. The skip pass. Urasawa. Tricky lob pass as Mikazuki identifies for him the wrong side. Pass went to his right hand. He's waving his left hand.
Once again, that those little chair adjustments. They not needing to call the mechanic, but they often use ratchet straps across their body. So every so often you have to retighten those and get them settled back in place.
Imposing figure of Tom Klein, lefty, makes his first shot. Set the screen, flared a little up near the free throw line, but you can barely blink and Furusawa's off. He's such a smooth mover in the chair. Effortless left-hand skip pass. Beautiful exchange of passing inside. Akita with the finish. Kavanagh. O'Neill Thorne, his pass is picked off. Might have caught a stray elbow there, Tom Klein.
That's the kind of energy that you want to see coming out of the rollers. It's maybe you draw a foul, maybe you get a little bit of contact, but putting your body on the line, showing that you're invested in winning and really fighting for that ball, Tom Klein. I like that. I like that energy and that aggression.
Mikazuki the first to check that he was okay. Australia leading by 8. The dying stages of the third quarter. Game 1 of the Rollers against the World Series. And find another way inside. Akita, the recipient of the final pass and the finisher. Tom Klein's down again. Foul this time, and the Japanese team over the limit, that being their 5th team foul for the quarter. And as in all basketball, there's a deterrent after that 5th foul, or on that 5th foul. The team that's transgressed would receive 2 free throws. Tom Klein just finding his range there, maybe a little shaken after that fall out of the chair. That was well short. Second one a much better effort, but it's off. Mikazuki made a big difference since he came on. Rintaro, some fancy handwork there. Still has the ball, like a magic trick. Mikazuki can hear the game clock running down. Can they get a shot up? Ball kicks out again. Urasawa's shot is waved away. And that'll do us for the 3rd quarter. It's Australia 42, Japan 36. We'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
It's the final quarter of the first game of a large 5-day slate of games, featuring the 2 teams you can see on the floor at the moment. Japan on the left in the red, the Australian Rollers on the right in the gold. And later today and right across the weekend we'll see Spain and Italy. Spain and Italy in fact coming up straight after this contest, being 2 of the European qualifiers for the World Championships to be held in September in Ottawa. Chance for these 4 teams to play each other multiple times over the next 5 days. We're at the AUS Netball and Basketball Centre in Canberra, the capital of Australia. Tristan Knowles gets us underway with a 3. That'll be the last thing the Japanese coaching staff wanted to see. Almost caught asleep there. A simple skip pass and Knowles catch and shoot. He's always ready to do that. Kozai looks inside. A finger roll, sort of sideways finger roll from Rintaro short. Knowles streaking the other way. He skips it back. Dalton. Back to O'Neill Thorne. Back to Knowles. Drives middle, cut off. Shot clock running down. You can hear it in the background. Dalton's shot is short. Japanese looking to push. Fujimoto on the floor. The long black sleeves for the first time. Miyamoto. Back to Fujimoto. Shot from Kozai short. Knowles pushing transition. O'Neill Thorne pushing transition. Probing. Thinks 3. Fakes. Ball deflected away. Exchanges a little pleasantry with Fujimoto. Australia a 9-point advantage. Interesting to see how hard these teams go. End of the first game of the long weekend. Some psychological advantages available through winning a game like this. Fujimoto sitting up very tall in the chair. You can see plenty of things. Looks at the three. It's good. Boom. Fujimoto, we haven't seen him all game. Comes on and making an immediate impact. O'Neill Thorne. Knowles. Shot short and wide. Fujimoto giving directions. Some players to go behind him. He wheels away to the corner. No look pass. Fantastic stuff. Unfortunately, the left hand rolling hook from Kozai was off. Tempo's just picked up here. Start of the last quarter. Dalton weaves, cut off. Looks inside. Shot clock running down. The bench assisting with the count. Knowles is going to have to force something here. Gets himself reasonably well balanced. Can't make it go. Plenty of backcourt pressure. Fujimoto. His pass is turned over. Varintaro. O'Neill Thorne fakes the three, looks inside, finds Knowles. Two very experienced customers knowing each other's habits and cues. Steadying score for Australia, the margin back to 8. Intaro drives baseline, looks middle. Fantastic control from Fujimoto. Missed the first shot, caught the offensive rebound, gave the little fake, let the defender's arms sail by, and finished. Knowles. Boom. That's Dalton. Struggled with his range a bit, but not that time. Absolutely no hesitation. Fujimoto, series of fakes. Knowles, bamboozled there. Pass almost hit Knowles in the head, the cross-court pass. Shot clock running down. Kozai. Back to Rintaro. Shot bobbles off as the shot clock expires in the background. The rollers are off and running again. Knowles goes middle. Dalton, same spot. Different result this time. Short and left. Japanese off and running. Kozai. He weaves, draws a double team. Back to Fujimoto. Rintaro gets a free throw, makes it. Or at least a shot from the free throw line, unguarded, almost looked like a free throw. O'Neill Thorne, Ethan Laird, Mr. Knowles has a 360 on the spot. Ethan Laird leans in. Always so busy, seems to encourage defenders to overcommit. He did on that occasion. The defender, that is. Ethan drawing the foul. The Japanese want to have a chat about things again. Their head coach, Kazuyuki Koyoya. Certainly plenty happening in this first couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. The game pace has increased exponentially. With a flurry of scoring, the opportunity to press in the backcourt has disappeared. But as mentioned, it's a long 5 days and plenty of opportunity to look at different combinations, tactics and style.
you'd almost be thinking from the way that these teams are playing in this first game that they're forgetting that they have to play a lot of games throughout this weekend, putting all of their energy into this. And it's an unfortunate thing with wheelchair basketball because you're doing everything upper body through your arms and through your shoulders. That fatigue sets in really quickly. So come second or third day, they could be a lot of calls to the physio.
I'm sure all four teams will have access to the recovery facilities here at the Australian Institute of Sport. Australia with the ball in the goal, leading by 7. Just over the halfway point, the fourth quarter. Beautiful hold-up screen and roll there. Unfortunately, Jay Kavanagh just unable to make the first one go, but he did stick with it, got the offensive rebound and drew the foul.
This is one of the changes that I was looking for the Japanese side to make. Bring in Ryo Fujimoto. He's a big, imposing man and has that pressure to put on the rollers. They've been playing with their height, playing with Ben Moncrief quite to their strength, and I really like this change up to go a little bit of a slower side, but play with that really big forward.
Fujimoto on cue. Just the one-handed rebound and pass off. He continues his cut. Gets the layup to fall. Has a big smile for the Australian bench there on his way back down the floor. Knowles for the Rollers. Laird doesn't think twice. He goes boom from 3. Fujimoto, front court. A dizzying array of fakes and feints. Ball finds its way to Kozai. Uses the screen. Rintaro. Defers to Fujimoto. Balances. Fakes the defender almost. Ethan Laird almost did come out of his chair. Just lunged forward thinking he might have a chance to swipe at that ball, and Fujimoto was already pulling it back. Like a little magic trick. Knowles. Uses the golden screen. Ball finds its way inside. Shots off. And Japan creep closer. Kozai there. Marching back to 3. Dalton, Laird again for 3. Wasn't he on the Japanese scouting card? Seemed content to leave him open. The top of the 3-point line there. Kozai. Uses a couple of screens. Rintaro. Kozai, shot clock running down. You can hear it in the background. Finds its way back to Fujimoto. He's good.
He's just so consistent from that outside shot. Fujimoto, he's a veteran for the Japanese side. He also played previously in the past couple of years in the Australian National League, so he knows these guys quite well, and he's just so consistent. He's big, he's intimidating, but he's also got that court IQ. Knows his shot consistently, doesn't think twice when he takes it.
Laird found his way inside, got tied up. Somehow the ball got back to Phil Evans, and he made the shot. Backcourt pressure, a little bit of an issue. Fujimoto comes to get the inbound pass. Rintaro. Kozai. Knowles takes a tumble in the back. Ball goes middle. Mariuma finishes this time. And Neil Thorne sneaks back onto the floor for Australia. Maybe Brad Ness just wanting to ensure that in these last minute and a half that Australia is able to maintain that advantage. Knowles drives middle, cut off. Defence has ratcheted up a notch or two. Back to O'Neill Thorne, looks at three, that's off. The long arm of Fujimoto there for the rebound. Hosai looks ahead. Have to wait for Fujimoto to get across the halfway line there. O'Neill Thorne crashes in to steal that. Knowles probing, cut off. Finds O'Neill Thorne, his hook passes awry. There's a leak out. Guess who? Fujimoto. He stops and almost encourages Frank Pinder to maybe foul him and create a three-point opportunity. Only by just two. Just running down, the Japanese will get the ball back. That's off. Pinder scrambles after it. Takes a tumble from his chair, but manages to get the all-important offensive rebound. For the halt. And Pinder sort of straddled across the sideline there.
That's actually really lucky for the Rollers that Pinder was down at that point, being able to reset their offense. The Japanese were kind of swallowing them towards one side, and looking like they might be able to get the steal here, but the Rollers will try to just push out that time.
Interesting, the Japanese probably forced a foul here. They do. Knowles tried to make it look like he was shooting a three as he was fouled. But the ball will go back to the side. The Japanese still having a couple of team fouls to commit to get into the bonus. It's going to be a race against time here. Knowles weaves. He's got four defenders on him at the moment. Eventually a foul detected.
The infamous last 5 seconds of a close game that could last for a couple minutes. So one of those hilarious little moments that you have, especially as a player. You think the game is done, think you've won it. It just keeps dragging on.
Yeah, it's always handy to have those team foul counts up at this stage. You want to foul indiscriminately, but. And the Japanese content to let that one go, this being the first game of such a long 5 days of basketball. And it's the Rollers 58, Japan 56, a very similar score to when they last faced off in the final of the Asia-Oceania Wheelchair Championships to qualify for the World Championships. But, a fantastic first hit out early in the morning. Probably not the ideal time situation for both teams, but they will certainly play each other again this weekend, and both have an opportunity to play Italy and Spain multiple times. What were your thoughts, Campbell, generally?
Yeah, I think the Rollers came out really, really strong. They obviously relied on a few players. Tom O'Neill Thorne getting absolutely a lot of minutes through there, and probably pretty deservedly tired at this point. But they really relied on their three-point shot that really surprises me. They took 27 as opposed to the 7 that Japan took. And really, that's both a credit to the Japanese side. Their defense is absolutely active and incredibly strong, but also just the Australians relying on that they have the ability to hit those. We saw Ethan Laird take a couple, Jordan Bartley also taking a couple and hitting those. So it's an interesting style of play for them to choose, but it does also open up that speed that they have. And kind of look for those other opportunities to get through. But the Japanese also keeping strong in there. I think putting Ryo Fujimoto on pretty late in the game might have been the mistake that they made there, and that 2-point difference. But his ability to just control the game and really control the pace that the Japanese play at is something that they might rely on further into this weekend and the following days.
Yeah, certainly Fujimoto, the difference he made in the last quarter when he came on was noticeable. So we get a look at some of the highlights of the second half. The blinding speed of Furusawa on display there, number 7 for Japan. He's a younger player, and wow, just electric acceleration in the chair.
It's one of the massive things that the Japanese have, and have always had for years and years, is their fluidity and their movement in the chairs. They like to play that kind of fast-paced game. Even their bigs, like Ryo Fujimoto, is a big guy, and usually you expect them to be a little bit slower, but he's still got that speed and that agility. So,
right, so we see the rollers wrapping up things there. We will leave it there, and a reminder that the next game, Spain against Italy, will be coming up shortly on the Basketball Australia YouTube channel. But from both of us here, it's goodbye.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.